My beloved brothers and sisters, there are moments in life when we look around and see nothing but walls. Walls of hardship, walls of fear, walls of limitation. We say to ourselves, there's no way forward, it's impossible. And yet, if we look back through our lives and even through history, we'll realize that there were times when we thought something was impossible. And yet it happened. Not by our power, not by our plan, but by the will of Allah, the one who turns impossibility into reality. You see, when we talk about impossible, we're speaking from the limits of our understanding. We are limited by what we can see, what we can calculate, what we can predict. But Allah, the Lord of the worlds, is not limited by any of that. He is not bound by time, by cause, or by probability. When He says be, it is. And that's where the lesson of hope begins. Hope in Islam is not just wishful thinking. It's not just saying, I hope something good happens. Hope, true hope, is faith in motion. It's when your heart believes in the power of Allah, even when your eyes see nothing. It's when you tell yourself, my situation looks impossible, but my Lord is not incapable. My brothers and sisters, I want you to think about this. Every single day, the impossible happens around us. The sun rises from total darkness. Rain falls from empty skies. Life is born from what was once lifeless. You and I were once nothing, not even a mention, and yet here we are breathing, speaking, thinking. So tell me, what is impossible for the one who created us from nothing? But the problem is, when we are tested, when we are faced with difficulty, when doors close in front of us, we forget who we belong to. We start measuring our life by our strength, our effort, our bank balance, our position, our education. And when those seem insufficient, we say, it's impossible. Yet Allah reminds us in the Quran, and He provides for him from where he does not expect. And whoever relies upon Allah, then He is sufficient for him. At-Talaq 65:3. That's what I expect. That's the key. That's where the impossible becomes possible. That's where Allah opens a door no one knew existed. Many of us think we'll only find a way forward through what we can see. We say, if this plan fails, that's it. But Allah's plan isn't limited to your plan. He doesn't need your logic to make something happen. He only needs your faith to stay alive. Now, think of how many times people said, it's impossible in the Quran, and yet Allah proved them wrong. When Moses stood before the sea and saw Pharaoh's army behind him, what did the people say? They said, we are surely overtaken. It was by every human standard impossible. But Musa said, no, indeed with me is my Lord, He will guide me. And Allah split the sea. The impossible became possible, not because of strength, not because of strategy, but because of hope and faith. Now pause and think. If Allah could split an entire sea for one man and his followers, do you think He cannot open a door for you? If He could bring water from a dry rock, could He not bring a way out from your hardship? The only difference is, Musa didn't say, let's see what happens. He said, my Lord will guide me. That certainty is what we're missing today. We live in an age where people glorify self-confidence but neglect God-confidence. We believe in ourselves so much that when we fail, we crumble. But when you believe in Allah, you never truly fail, because you know even your delay has purpose, even your pain has wisdom. Sometimes Allah allows the impossible to corner us, not to destroy us, but to show us who He really is. He lets the situation reach a breaking point so that we stop relying on the creation and return to the Creator. When we exhaust every path, every means, every idea, that's when we realize all along it was never the means that provided, it as always Him. My brothers and sisters, if you're going through a difficulty right now, maybe you've tried everything, maybe you're tired, maybe you're losing hope, let this be a reminder. Allah does not test you to break you. He tests you to awaken you. He wants you to realize that His mercy can make the impossible happen. And let's be honest, Hope isn't easy. It's not some switch you turn on and suddenly feel peace. Hope is a struggle. It's waking up every morning and saying, Ya Allah, I don't see how this will change, but I trust you anyway. It's praying when you're tired, giving when you feel empty, forgiving when you're hurt, and moving forward even when you can't see the road. That's real faith. That's real hope. And the truth is, sometimes the impossible doesn't happen how we imagine. We think a miracle means everything turns out perfect. But sometimes the miracle is simply that you survived what was meant to break you. You're still standing, you still believe, you're still turning to Allah. That, my brothers and sisters, is a miracle in itself. We must redefine what impossible even means. Because in the vocabulary of a believer, impossible doesn't exist. Yes, things can be difficult, painful, delayed, but never impossible. Allah says, indeed, my mercy encompasses all things. Al-Araf 7:15 sticker. If His mercy encompasses all things, then that includes your problem, your loss, your mistake, your pain, your future. So when you say there's no way, what you're really saying is, I've forgotten how vast my Lord's mercy is. Brothers and sisters, faith isn't about having all the answers. It's about trusting the one who does. Hope isn't about knowing how. It's about believing that He can. And once that belief enters your heart, your mindset changes. You stop seeing problems as punishments. You start seeing them as pathways. You stop saying, why me? And start saying, what is Allah teaching me? You begin to realize that even your heartbreak, even your failure, even your waiting were all part of His wisdom. Because sometimes Allah delays what you want to give you what you need. Sometimes He blocks a door because He knows it would lead you astray. Sometimes He takes something away to make space for something far better. But to see that, you must remain hopeful. You must train your heart to see beyond the storm, because the one who keeps hope alive in Allah never loses, never collapses, never despairs, because Allah Himself says, do not despair of the mercy of Allah. Indeed, Allah forgives all sins. As-free. Notice how Allah, some sins said all. If He can forgive all, can He not also die for all? If He can bring you back from sin, can He not bring you back from struggle? The impossible happens when the heart believes more in Allah's promise than in the pain. The impossible happens when the believer refuses to give up. And the impossible happens when the servant says, Ya Allah, I leave it in your hands, and I trust that whatever you choose is better for me. That mindset, that submission, that's where peace begins. My beloved brothers and sisters, we often wonder, how does the impossible actually happen? What changes a situation that seems utterly hopeless into something beautiful, something we never imagined could turn in our favor? It begins in the heart. It begins when a believer stops measuring the world through their eyes and starts measuring it through their faith. You see, when your heart is connected to Allah, your definition of possible changes. For most people, possible means something within their control, something they can touch, predict, or plan for. But for the believer, possible means anything that Allah wills. And that includes what seems completely out of reach. The Quran reminds us again and again, indeed, Allah is over all things competent. Al-Baqarah 208:4. This Maya. NS, there's no limit to His ability, no restriction to His power. He can make the weak strong, the poor wealthy, the lost guided, the broken healed, and the forgotten remembered. And He can do it in a way that no one expects, through means that defy logic, through timing that humbles the heart. Sometimes we look at a situation and say, it's over. But Allah looks at that same situation and says, that's where I begin. When the people of Joseph threw him into the well, they thought his story ended. They thought they had silenced his dreams. But what did Allah do? He turned the darkness of the well into the beginning of a divine journey. one that led Yusuf from slavery to power, from tears to triumph. The impossible happened because Allah never left him, even for a moment. And that's the secret, my brothers and sisters. Allah never leaves you. Even when you think He has. Even when your du'as seem unanswered, even when your life seems stuck, even when you feel forgotten, He is still there, managing your affairs, writing your story with wisdom you cannot yet see. The impossible happens when you surrender, when you stop fighting the decree of Allah and start trusting the wisdom behind it. When you say, Ya Allah, I don't understand this now, but I know you never wrong me. Many people think strength means never breaking down, but true strength in Islam is being able to fall before Allah and rise again. It's being able to cry and still believe. It's saying, Alhamdulillah, even when life doesn't make sense. Brothers and sisters, Allah never promised us a life without struggle. He promised us that He would be with us through the struggle. He said, indeed, with hardship comes ease. Ash-Shah, note 4:6. Notice, He didn't say after hardship. He said with, which means the ease is already there, hidden inside the test. You might not see it yet, but it's there, waiting for the right moment to appear. Think of the seed beneath the soil. If you saw it in darkness, buried and forgotten, you'd think it was lost. But in reality, that's the stage where growth begins. The pressure, the darkness, the stillness, all of it is part of the process. The impossible becomes possible only after that pressure, only after that waiting. So if you're buried under your own trials today, know that you are not forgotten. You are being prepared. You're not being buried. You're being planted. And one day, you'll bloom in ways you never imagined. Hope in Allah doesn't mean you will never feel pain. It means that even in your pain, you know He's there. It means that your faith is not based on comfort, but on conviction. You trust Him. Not because life is easy, but because you know His plan is better than your own. Sometimes we think hope is a feeling, but in Islam, hope is a decision. It's a conscious choice to hold on to faith when your emotions tell you to give up. It's choosing to keep walking when your heart is heavy. It's choosing patience when you want to rush. It's choosing gratitude when everything seems to go wrong. And Allah loves those choices. He loves the heart that keeps returning to Him despite hardship. He loves the servant who says, my Lord, I am tired, but I still trust you. When you hold on to that hope, miracles unfold quietly. You start noticing small signs. A door opens here, a blessing appears there. Your perspective changes, your heart softens, and you realize the impossible didn't happen suddenly. It happened gradually, through every prayer, every tear, every moment you refuse to give up. Allah's help often comes in subtle ways. We expect fireworks, but He sends calm. We expect grand solutions, but He sends a friend, a word, a verse, a sign that says, I am with you. And that reassurance is worth more than any miracle. The problem is many of us give up too early. We plant the seed of dua and expect the tree of blessings to appear overnight. But Allah's plan is based on wisdom, not urgency. He gives when the time is right, not when we demand it. Because sometimes the delay is the mercy. Think of it. If everything you wanted happened instantly, how would you ever learn patience, gratitude, or humility? You'd start believing you're in control, and that illusion would destroy your heart. But when Allah makes you wait, when He tests your limits, He's not punishing you, He's polishing you. He's shaping you into someone capable of receiving the blessing properly. The impossible happens when you stop focusing on when and start focusing on who. Who are you turning to? Who are you relying on? Because if it's truly Allah, then there is no impossible. Brothers and sisters, the world will tell you to give up. It will tell you to be realistic. But our realism as believers is different. We are realistic through faith. We know that every storm ends, every night gives way to dawn, every pain carries purpose. So never let the temporary state of your life define your faith. You may be in hardship today, but your Lord is still the same Lord who rescued Jonah from the belly of the whale, who gave a child to Zechariah in old age, who cooled the fire for Abraham. Do you think He has changed? Do you think his mercy has decreased? Do you think his power has weakened? No. Allah is the same today as he was then. The difference is whether we still believe as strongly as they did. When you truly internalize this, life transforms. You stop being a victim of circumstance and become a student of destiny. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what is Allah teaching me through this? You begin to see every pain as preparation, every loss as purification, every challenge as elevation. That's how the impossible happens. Not outside of you, but within you, because when your heart shifts, when you align your will with his, you begin to move differently, think differently, live differently. You stop depending on the outcome and start depending on Allah. And that's when you find peace, even before the solution arrives. Remember, the goal of hope isn't to control what happens. It's to stay connected to the one who controls everything. So even if life doesn't go the way you planned, you still win, because your faith remains intact. My brothers and sisters, every time you think something is impossible, remind yourself of this simple truth. You are speaking about possibilities from the perspective of a creation, not the creator. You are looking at your situation from the ground, not from above. Allah's plan encompasses every moment, every detail, every prayer, every tear. So never say impossible again. Say instead, if Allah wills, it will be. Because he can turn the bitter into sweet, the broken into beautiful, the delayed into destined. He can change your life in one moment. But more importantly, he can change you through your life. So hold on. Keep believing, keep working, keep making dua. Even if it's been years, even if nothing seems to move, your patience is not wasted. Your tears are not ignored. Your prayers are not lost. The impossible is already being prepared quietly, beautifully by the one who never forgets you. One day when the doors open, you'll look back and realize every hardship was a step toward that moment. Every delay was divine timing. Every heartbreak was mercy in disguise. And you'll smile, perhaps with tears in your eyes, and say, now I understand what I thought was impossible was never impossible for Allah. That realization, that peace, that clarity, that closeness to your Creator, that's the true miracle. That's how the impossible actually happens. Not when the world changes, but when your heart does. So my brothers and sisters, never lose hope in the mercy of Allah. Even when the world says no, remember that your Lord can still say yes, even when your strength fades. Remember that his power never does. And even when you feel alone, remember that he is always with you. Hold your head high, not in arrogance, but in trust. Walk with dignity, not because life is easy, but because you walk with Allah. And whisper to your heart again and again, my Lord can make the impossible happen.